You have been very vocal concerning the problems undocumented immigrants face in the state of California. In your opinion, how can these problems be solved in an optimal way?
Well, I always think it's important to understand the context of how we got here. I was a United States ambassador, and I had a consulate in our office in Budapest, in our embassy, just as if you're in Athens and you go to the U.S. Embassy to get a non-resident or a non-resident visa or a visa to come and travel as a tourist, you go through a process. For many years across our border, we had a process that was much less documented, shall we say, where people could come in with just a birth certificate and get waved through. So there really was a double standard for a long time. And what happened is we now have about 2.5 million people in our state who are undocumented. I mean, you compare that to the population of Greece, it's almost 20% of the size of Greece. Here, just in our state alone, are people who don't have proper documentation. More than half of those people have been here for over 10 years. So the idea that we're going to take all of these people, who I call frankly Californians, and send them away is just not plausible. It's not likely, and frankly, in many cases, it's not even fair. So what most people recognize is that if we have a sensible approach to our situation, it is a combination of enhanced border security, and I was in the Obama administration, we took that very seriously, but also recognizing that we have people here who we need to deal with in a different way. Now, there are DACA, what we call our DACA participants. Those are people who came here, were brought here as children. They have a certain level right now of protection as a result of President Obama's executive order. But as we know, that is very much at risk and in jeopardy. And then there are others who have been here for a very long time, who are married to U.S. citizens, who have children who are U.S. citizens. So we have to look at this in a sensible way. Unfortunately, what has happened at the national level is that it's not being looked at with reason and logic. It's being approached from a very emotional level. And the same thing, by the way, is happening with immigrants into Europe. This us versus them. This idea that people are finding it politically expedient to pit us all against each other. In the United States, it is now boiled down to this wall or no wall. And that is really a false construct for the conversation that we have to have. And so in California, we know that, we understand it, and we also fundamentally understand that we are a nation of immigrants, that we are strong because of our immigrant populations, that our economy is robust and very much has benefited over decades of the hard work of immigrants, but also the innovation and the creativity and the multiculturalism that has come along with our immigrant populations.
What do you consider as priorities to address in the rapidly evolving economy in California?
It's, to me, very fundamental that education is very much at the core of this. About 65% of the new jobs that are being created in California require more than a high school diploma. My work as a member of the UC Board of Regents, as a member of the CSU trustees, and also in engaging with our community colleges, which, by the way, our community college system alone has over 2 million students enrolled as we speak. So these three systems together really are one of the greatest feature of our state. We have systems which have everything from the highest levels of educational opportunities to really basic and much needed training programs within it. For it to work, they've got to be nimble. They've got to be able to recognize that what has worked in the past for training our workforce is not necessarily what will work in the future. And I'm very optimistic because I spent a lot of time with the experts who are clear-eyed and recognize that we have the talent and we have the economy that will provide jobs. What's in the middle is a process to train people. So we're very fortunate that we have those two bookends, but now it's up to us to ensure that people really are offered, using the public funds we have available, they're offered the kind of training that will prepare them for the economy of the future.